Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another full week of Pro Wrestling Throwdown. It's June 13th. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke Williams. That's our in-studio producer, Max Fury. Luke, how the hell are you this Saturday?
It's Saturday.
That's fair. It is a Saturday. Max, how you doing?
We're here, man. It's a day.
It's a beautiful day.
It's
a beautiful day outside, and it's a beautiful day to talk wrestling, and we're going to get started with what's news in wrestling this week. My top story this week, Paul Heyman has been removed as head of creative for Raw and has been replaced by none other than the Artful Dodger himself, Bruce Pritchard.
Brother Love's in control again.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how I feel about him being in charge of both shows. I don't.
Well, I mean, there was a time back in the day that he actually ran everything. So, it's not that he can't do it. It's the climate into which he's working now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Raw has been on an upward, in my opinion, on an upward climb. SmackDown's kind of leveled out. No, I'm talking about talent-wise. You got new guys coming in.
Talent-wise, it's great.
You got Apollo Crews as champion. Drew McIntyre's killing it. Kills it every week.
Yeah.
Yes, the show is hemorrhaging.
It's tanking.
But, I mean, when Bruce Pritchard comes in, are these people that we're seeing getting the pushes now going to keep those pushes?
Yeah, and I guess that's something to be considered of. But if you look at SmackDown, I mean, AJ's champ, Braun's champ, New Day's champs. So, I mean, it's not like he's not using the top talent that needs to be utilized. It'll be interesting to see with him, with the roster that Raw has, what he's going to do with them.
Right.
Because we can all pretty much agree Bruce is a creative genius. He's an architect.
He's always been a creative. Yeah, I mean, I love Paul Heyman, but, I mean, it wouldn't be the first show that's tanked underneath his regime.
Yeah, and he definitely, I mean, it's not SmackDown 2004. Correct. It's a whole new audience. It's a whole new decade. A whole new several decades. A whole new generation.
Yeah.
And I think we can all pretty much agree that creative on Raw has been lacking.
Creative on both shows have been lacking.
And obviously the pandemic definitely affected that. But, Heyman's still going to be around.
True.
So we'll see what happens with Bruce Pritchard in charge. Next thing we got going on, gun control. What I mean by that is WWE issued a cease and desist letter to AEW, quoting that Billy Gunn cannot use the name Billy Gunn because they own it. So now he is Billy and Austin Gunn of the Gun Club. What do you think?
I think that there could have been a way around it. I mean, you could have called him Bill Gunn.
Oh my gosh. They should have called him Billy Club.
Billy Club would have been great.
Billy Club. And then Austin Gunn, the Gun Club.
Yeah.
That would have worked out perfectly.
That would have worked great.
You can have that idea. You don't have to pay me for it. Just like and subscribe my video, AEW. Call him Billy Club.
We would enjoy all out tickets.
That's on my 30th birthday. Just throwing that out there.
But no, I mean, I get it. It's kind of a low blow.
Yeah,
honestly.
It is.
Does it really matter? Not really. He's not on TV enough for it to really affect anything.
Yeah.
It's a way for Vince to stretch his arms and show his muscles. That's pretty much
Which is such an unnecessary thing to do because AEW is pretty good about staying out of the murky water. I mean, they have some things they do and some things, Cody will say every once in a while or Jericho will say every once in a while. Two guys that have all right to say it.
Especially when it comes to the E.
Yeah. Big weekend feuds. Got a whole lot of going on in the feud week. First of all, Howard Stern has a couple of not necessarily disparaging things to say about AEW. Had no product knowledge. Put over Goldust as his favorite wrestler. Had a conversation with Robin Quivers, his EP for the last 30 some odd years.
Acted like in the beginning he didn't know who he was, but then turned around and said his shoot name.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Yeah, and I don't know. Dustin responded, offering hey, come check out the show. Stern this is the first time he's made disparaging remarks about pro wrestling. It's actually one of the reasons I was a huge, you ask him, I listen to Howard Stern on the radio every single day, and then I caught an episode right before WrestleMania where he just kind of buried wrestling and wrestling fans, and for me that was, I don't listen to it. As often I still do, but I'm not as religious as I was.
I mean, anything he says you have to take with a grain of salt. He's a
shock jock, I get it.
I mean, he's notorious for having wrestlers on his thing.
Yeah.
Foley, the whole China interviews.
Yeah.
Triple H,
Sean
Stephanie's been on there.
Oh yeah, Steph has. Was she on there before or after the boob job?
Before and after the boob job.
That's right.
I mean, they've had several on there. Hogan, for the longest time, have been on there a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Howard Stern. It's one of those things like he's the Weird Al of shock jocks.
Yeah.
you haven't made it unless Howard Stern has said
made fun of
something.
you. It's like South Park. You're not famous until South Park speaks you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, or The Simpsons or Family Guy or whoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a staple. You know, Howard Stern makes fun of you. He makes fun of everybody.
Another big topic is Ciampa and Randy Orton at each other's throats.
Yep.
Randy Orton, kind of a funny tweet regarding NXT TakeOver in Your House, which we're going to review later on. Basically, remarks, hey, heard the show was great. It was a leg slap and good time. # leg slap. Ciampa remarks with, oh, I found the perfect solution to put my daughter to sleep. It's a Randy Orton match. # sincerely from a locker room that busted his ass.
Right.
Randy Orton would go on to say, well, teach me whenever leg slap class is so I can step up my game. Apparently the thing that he said that got me was apparently I've upset the locker room leader of a self-appointed locker room leader of a wrestling school.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's wife also chimed in with, isn't Ciampa, isn't he the guy that took credit for all those great matches he had nothing to do with? So it's an interesting thing. Orton's obviously a top guy. He's got a lot of stroke. He's also a tough SOB, not saying Ciampa's not.
Also, to be fair, he's not wrong. There was a lot of leg slapping.
There was a lot, and trust me, I'm going to get very in-depth about my hatred for the leg slap in the TakeOver review.
But, I mean, it's very honest, very open.
Yeah, and honestly, Orton's not a guy you want to willingly get heat with. He's on top. He's just like a guy with Cena.
I think Orton would absolutely mop the floor with Ciampa's beard.
Yeah, and let's be fair. We're not even talking like.
Let's be fair. The water and dirt and stuff would jump off the floor if Ciampa's beard
is a physically. I mean, Orton is a physically tough human being.
Looks like he has a family of wild badgers on his chin.
Not Orton, Ciampa.
Ciampa. # Ciampa's beard.
So yeah, Ciampa. I don't know, man. That's not a hole I would want to get too deep in. Obviously, they could be working each other. We don't know, but don't even. Don't.
I'm not going there.
Yeah, I know. Shut up.
But anyway, yes, no, Randy Orton, I mean, he has the right to say it. I mean, it's obvious.
He's a vet. He's on top of the WWE. He can say whatever the hell he wants, frankly. And there was a lot of bad leg slapping, which, again, I will let you all know about in the TakeOver review, because I'm not happy about it. The other feud we got going on, AJ Styles and CM Punk. AJ Styles wins the Intercontinental Championship, which we'll talk about here in just a little while. Punk responds, or kind of just attacks AJ for not really speaking out with the current movement.
Punk said that he was disappointed in AJ Styles for not speaking more on the social problems going on in the world today.
Yeah, to which
AJ Styles responded, when someone asks me a question that I respect, I'll give an answer, but that I'm a superstar.
I'm an entertainer.
And that's to keep people's minds off.
Yeah, now, we are not anti the social climate. We're not pro the social. We're not going to discuss our political views on this show.
This is not the show
because
for that.
We are here to talk about wrestling, and we want everybody to tune in just to get away from it all. And some of you, I know you can't. And trust me, we're right there with you, but we're here to provide just wrestle talk. That's all we're going to do here. But on that topic, AJ Styles saying he doesn't respect CM Punk is interesting. If you go back, they've got a long history together. They were the first top stars in Ring of Honor together. Punk stayed in Ring of Honor when AJ and Joe went over to TNA. Punk eventually leaving. They know each other. It's not like the situation with Ciampa and Orton, where Ciampa doesn't really know Orton and Orton doesn't really know Ciampa. These are two top guys have known each other for the better half of now 20 years, 25 years probably.
I think the most thing that comes from it is the fact that I don't know a lot of people in wrestling today that really do respect CM Punk's opinion anymore.
No, it's gotten to the point where a lot of people are turned off by Punk's
when he
opinions.
turned around and he started the complaints and then the lawsuit and then everything else.
Screwing Colt Cabana.
Yeah, big time. I mean, he lost the respect of a lot of people, so it's not exactly unheard of for somebody to be like, yeah, hey, I don't respect you.
Yeah, and especially considering AJ's still in the ring and still doing his job as a wrestler, while Punk is saying, oh, well, you should have an opinion from the sidelines. AJ's doing his job. He's catching his check. He's putting food on the table just like everybody else
AJ's like, I'll do the work in the ring. You sit behind a desk.
That's right. That's going to wrap it up here for What's News, guys. What do you think about the news? What do you think about Ciampa, Orton, Punk, AJ? Let us know by liking, subscribing, leaving a contact down below, or leaving a comment down below, or sending us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Find us at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. Stay tuned for This Week in Wrestling.